Hello and welcome to the stream, everyone. Welcome in. As you can see, I've got a few injuries in my team which need to be sorted out, but we'll get there slowly but surely. I think everyone's kind of in the same boat that a lot of people are struggling with a few injuries, but is what it is. That's part and parcel of FPL. I feel like every year I go into the, let's say, game week 1 with a plan of, I'm gonna have this team for game week 1, and then in game week 3 or 4 I'm gonna make this move, and in 5 I'll make this move to target this fixture. 6 I'll roll, 7 I'll do this, that, and the other. And then you get to the end. You watch the first game in game week 1, and like one of your players gets injured, and then midweek going into game week 3 someone gets injured in training and whatnot. So I've already had to make a few transfers due to injuries, i.e. the Palmer injury forced me to do Sar and Wood in for Palmer and Mark Giu. And then lo and behold, Sar gets injured for a few weeks. So that's, rather unfortunate. If you have Sar and you're wondering when he's back, he is back in game week 6, which is when they play Liverpool. And I know that doesn't sound ideal in, at the best of times, playing anyone against Liverpool isn't ideal. But in my eyes, I feel like Sar is one of those players that excels against, teams that want to play football. Not like Sunderland. I could honestly have seen Sunderland are going to sit back against Palace, and I don't think it's going to be that easy of a game as people are predicting for Palace. And Sunderland have looked good. But, it's just one of those ones where I'm almost like happy to hold Sar, and I have kind of been forced to hold him due to this Ait-Nouri injury, which I don't think anyone was really expecting. But alas, here we are. We are here now, and Ait-Nouri is injured, which means that I have to figure out who I'm going to transfer him out for. And as you can see, I've got a few options in the poll. If you haven't voted in the poll yet and you want to, then go ahead. We've got Van Dijk, Senesi, Lacroix, and Porro as the potential replacements. I don't know why I've put Lacroix there, because I already have triple Palace, so I actually can't even make that move. That's why he's kind of lower down. I wasn't really thinking about him. I might take him out actually, but you know what? It is what it is. I'll keep it there for now. But Van Dijk is my most likely replacement. I do like Van Dijk as a, he gets DEFCON, and the next 2 fixtures are just insane. He's got Burnley and then Everton. So I quite fancy that. Liverpool can get a clean sheet against anyone at the end of the day. So it's just about whether that back line can stay fit. And they're the best team in the league. So obviously I want to have 3 Liverpool players against Burnley. I mean, that's that kind of goes without saying, I would say. But that's where my plans are now. Obviously, I could go for Pedro Porro. Has been someone that I'm interested in. He's looked really good, really attacking. He's on set pieces, which obviously is great for baseline bonus and whatnot, and assist potential, etc. But I already have Van de Ven, and do I want double Spurs defense? Is that really something that I want in my FPL team? Remains to be seen. But yeah, that is the current plan, the current setup that I've got going here. So let me just see. My stream is so laggy. Okay, we're back. There we go. Okay. So Trafford to Henderson, Daniel G. George says, I'm not too sure about that one. I think it's not ideal, but Trafford could start this weekend. I'm not sure they're going to throw Donnarumma straight in. That's my thought process. Like, I don't see them throwing Donnarumma straight in. So Trafford could be good for one more game week. But if you just want to go for someone this game week, then I guess Henderson is a good replacement with the fixtures that he has coming up. I've kind of talked myself into that. I think you should go Trafford to Henderson, because you get that Sunderland fixture this week, and I could also see Man United scoring against Man City. So yeah, don't mind it at all. Unfortunately, you do have to go there, Trafford to Henderson. Goalkeeper transfers are never ideal, especially this early on in the game week, but is what it is. Your other question was Ekitike or Salah captain. I'm going to say Salah. The reason for that is twofold or threefold. First of all, he's Mo Salah. Second of all, Ekitike could come off around, I could see him coming off around the 70th, 80th minute for Isak. And that's, I think a lot of people expect that to happen. And then the third reason is he's a midfielder. Salah's a midfielder, so he's going to get more points for goals and assists and clean sheets. So, 3 points in his favour. And the fourth one, again, is that he is Mo Salah. He is the king of FPL. So I think he's going to be the most captained player this game week by far and above. And yeah, listen, he's not looked great. Salah has looked bang average, and he's just picking up these little returns in the last minute of every game. But it's just what he does, and he's going to continue to do it. So hold strong. I know Ekitike is tempting. So is Gakpo for me. But yeah, it's always going to be Salah, isn't it? He's on pens, so it's got to be him. KM says, good morning from Vietnam. Good morning to you too. Welcome to the stream. Must be early enough over there, is it? Or no, later. It's later over there. Anish says, transfer Sar for a hit. Already upgraded Jorgen Strand-Larsen to Gyökeres. You have 0.5 million. You have Murillo, Esteve, Gio on the bench. Free hit 6 and wildcard 13 planned. Who should I get? In terms of a Sar replacement, my favourites right now, I do like Ndiaye as a replacement. I also like, and I know it's a very popular transfer this game week, Paqueta. Because he's just kind of like, I see him as like a premium DEFCON player. I don't see Paqueta as like, excuse me guys, I don't see Paqueta as like a super attacking player. I know he's picked up a few goals already, but I see him as like one of those premium DEFCON players that he's always on the ball. He's always involved in the play. So you're going to get the DEFCON, but then additional to that, he also gets some goals and assists. So I like Paqueta as a replacement. I like Ndiaye as well. And if you don't have a Spurs midfielder, I'd be tempted by someone like Kudus, maybe Xavi Simons if you think he'll start, and I do think he will. I do really like Xavi Simons. I'd be very tempted by him, and I've gone for him in my draft team, so I have. So yeah, that's what I've done. Next question by Wakas says, I would bring Bruno for Palmer and Munoz for De Kuyper. What do you say? Bruno for Palmer, Munoz for De Kuyper. So the thing is with Palmer is that he's been pictured in training. And I don't mind holding Palmer. Like, they play Brentford away. If you heard Palmer was starting against Brentford away, you'd be thinking, yes, let's have that. But then Bruno plays Man City. So it's like, I know Palmer's yellow flagged or whatever, but I've seen him in training and it looks like he'll play. So I don't know if I fancy that move particularly. I know it funds Munoz, but I just think holding Palmer is almost like a differential at this stage. Lucas says, hi, would you play Wood or Dango this game week? I would play Wood for sure. I would definitely play Wood with his penalties. Sam Maguire, well, welcome to the stream, Sam. Sar plus Murillo to Semenyo plus Senesi for -4. I really like those moves. I know it's unfortunate with Murillo and, Ange Ball in general coming in and ruining all of our Forest defence, which we haven't seen yet. Everyone's kind of just speculating that. But I do think that it's worth it. To get Sar out and you get Semenyo in and Senesi, I really like that. I think it's worth the -4, Sam. Is the audio cutting out for anyone else? Hopefully not anymore. Let me know if it is and I can try fix something. Okay, next question. Do you think Johnston starts? Do I think Brennan Johnson starts? I do think he starts. I do think Brennan Johnson starts. I think that Thomas Frank really likes him. If I was to try and predict the Spurs starting 4, like the attack, I would say it's Richarlison up top. I would say Brennan Johnson on the left, Kudus on the right, and Xavi Simons in the middle. And then later in the game, I could see Colin Muani coming on for either Brennan Johnson or Richarlison. If he came on for Brennan Johnson, Richarlison would go left wing and Colin Muani up top. That's kind of what I see happening. Yeah, if I was to predict. But yeah, it's a bit of a tough one. Bit of a tough one to predict the Spurs lineup right now. They've got so many players. Especially when everyone comes back fit, that is going to be a headache. When Kulusevski's back and everyone, that Spurs team is going to be a headache to try and predict. AFC fan, no Arsenal in the team. Would you not want Calafiori or Timber? Yeah, I mean, I should probably change the poll to add in to change the like Lacroix to one of the Arsenal defenders. I was thinking. For me, yeah, realistically, I actually would kind of be between Van Dijk and someone like Gabriel. Definitely not Calafiori or Timber, just because I'm not sure about their minutes long term. Gabriel's are the most secure. But yeah, no Arsenal in this team is a little bit concerning. But I'll figure that out later once their fixtures swing. On Wildcard, Simon says, on Wildcard, I'm going for DEFCON Monster back 5 every week. Allow Salah and Haaland as well, fingers crossed. Listen, that is I think that's a great play. Going back 5 is huge. You're just betting on DEFCON every week, which is, it's the numbers play. It's the long-term numbers play. I really like it. I could see it being a bit of a strat. Back 5, boys. Get Haaland and Salah in your teams and go for a DEFCON back 5. YouTube King, Wilson to Semenyo. I mean, yeah, if you could afford Wilson to Semenyo, then that is a great move. Obviously, Wilson plays Leeds this week, but is he even going to start? For me, I don't. Listen, I have to play him. Because Sarr is injured, and I'm not going to take a -4 to get Sarr out because I can play Wilson and Wood. I think it's not worth the -4 to bench Wood or Harry Wilson, most likely. But yeah. When will you start playing chips, says KM. When will I start playing chips? I'm looking at a bench boost 5, to be honest, and a free hit 6. Now, there's no real strategy this season in terms of, there is obvious players, when you look at the fixtures and who everyone has and when the fixtures swing and things like this, free hit 6 makes sense for a lot of people who, we don't have Man City. So that's something to consider. But yeah, I'm looking at a free hit 6, and right now my team looks really good for a bench boost 5. So I'm also looking at that. Okay, LFC Cola, welcome to the stream, my man. Hiya, current wildcard. Oh, your wildcarding due to injuries. Fair enough, has to be done. Thoughts on this draft? You have Raya, then Munoz, Cucurella, Livermento, Senesi, and Gudmundsson. Really like that backline. Really like it. Semenyo, Gakpo, Grealish, Xavi Simons, and King. And then big up top, Haaland, Gyökeres, João Pedro. Yeah, or is that JP as in Jean-Philippe Mateta? I think that's João Pedro. Yeah, what a draft. Love it. I love the King pick in midfield. If I was wildcarding, I would 100% have him just as a nice little enabler. And also Gudmundsson for Leeds. Him, King and Gudmundsson, by the way, their rotation is quite nice. So I'll look into that too. Yeah, really like the draft, man. Aaron says, hi mate. Oh, sorry, also one more thing about your draft is you have Haaland instead of Salah, which I would also do. I would do the same. I mean, obviously if you can fit both in, ideal, but you really can't without sacrificing the rest of your team. And I would go for a Haaland non-Salah draft if I was wildcarding this week. Aaron says, hi mate, enjoying the non-FPL content. Well, okay, yeah, really appreciate that. Yeah, if any of you guys are watching, I also do some non-FPL content too, just more general football chat. And this week I released a video which was ranking the most expensive transfers of the summer, the top 20 most expensive transfers, and putting them in a tier list, people do those tier lists where it's S tier, A, B, C, D, etc. And I put it into a tier list on who was the most overpriced, who was the biggest robbery, who was the best value. So if you guys are interested in that kind of thing, those videos for me don't do as well because obviously a lot of you guys just watch the FPL stuff. But if that's something you're interested in, it's something I'm really interested in too. So go have a look. But Aaron, to answer your question, you need to bench one of Paqueta, Rodgers, and Reinders this week. Leaning Rodgers currently as Paqueta has pens and Reinders will play in the 10. Yeah, I think someone else had this dilemma as well. Paqueta, Rodgers, and Reinders. I think it's so tough. Let's look here. Paqueta with in the teams to target projected goals section, Aston Villa and West Ham are neck and neck, and Man City are very high. So I would want to start Reinders as well. I think Reinders has to start, and then Paqueta because he's on pens. Yeah, Rodgers. I mean, Everton are a solid defence. Let's be real. It's Rodgers. You have to bench Rodgers. Everton are a solid defence, and Villa have looked shite. So yeah, I know it's tough benching Rodgers, but It's just because the rest of your team looks so good. That's never a bad thing. Right. Simon, you're on Wildcard and going for DEFCON. Oh, you already said that. Yeah. Yeah, fair play, man. I really like the strategy. Okay, Brummelman says, you're on Wildcard. Petrovic and Sells. Okay, a lot of money invested in goalkeepers, which I'm usually not a fan of, but let's read the rest of the team. Keane, Senesi, Munoz, Virgil, Lacroix. Okay, yeah. That's pretty big at the back. I quite like it. Then you have Rangers, Salah, Gakpo, Dewsbury Hall, He-Chan, Wood, Haaland, and Obi. Okay, there's a few things... Wait. Oh, you have Haaland? Yeah, you have Haaland as well. I like the Salah Haaland draft. Really like it. And the fact that you've also managed to get like Virgil, Munoz, Lacroix in your defence, that's huge. One thing I will say is I wonder about Gakpo's minutes. I do wonder about Gakpo's minutes and whether it'd be safer to go for someone like Semenyo instead of Gakpo. But other than that, I really like the rest of your team. Dewsbury Hall, He-Chan. Maybe I would suggest little Josh King. I would throw him in there. I think he's a really good enabler in wildcard drafts because he's a 4.5 million, midfielder that plays. So maybe have a look at him. But other than that, really like the team. It's quite well balanced, even with Haaland and Salah, which is not something you'd expect to say usually. Okay, WF, will you start in Dai if you only got Gio and no defensive sub in, or just go Gio to Mateta and bench in Dai? So I think in Dai is a bit of a doubt, unfortunately. So I think I think the second option of Gio to Mateta and benching in Dai, that's probably the play. Frees up a Chelsea slot too, which Gio takes up. So I think it's a good strategy going for that. Okay, Baba Goni says, do you think Gakpo is a risk now that they've signed Isak? I do think so. And I'm not too happy having him in my team, but that's just the way the season has panned out. I mean, everyone knew that this was, this was possible. Everyone knew it. So, I'm happy that I've had Gakpo in my team, but it is one of those ones where, he's got to, his minutes have got to decline eventually. He's just nowhere near, essential to be removed right now. I think we just have to wait and see how Arnie Slot lines up. I do think he starts against Burnley though. So I'm happy to have him for now. Okay. Wakas Ahmed says, Sanchez, Dubravka, Anderson, Van de Ven, Salah, Semenyo. You've got Semenyo, Rangers, Wood, Watkins, João Pedro, Anderson at Forest, Nico Williams, Esteve. Munoz for De Kuiper, hold Palmer as you said. Yeah, hold Palmer. If you can get Munoz, like straight swap from De Kuiper, then yes, definitely do that. That would be huge. Really like that move. Munoz in this week is going to be one of the most popular transfers in. So yeah, I don't mind it at all. Nikolai says, if you were to wild card 6 and you have Munoz already, would you get in Richards or Guehi or Senesi? I like going for the double Palace. Yeah, I would go for Richards. Or Guehi. If you can afford Guehi and you're going to... I think Guehi's probably a bit more of an attacking threat than Richards. But I have seen that Richards gets a bit more DEFCON. So it's really a 50-50, but one of Guehi or Richards double up on those Palace fixtures. They play Sunderland this week, West Ham next, and then you can wildcard into whoever. I like it, Nikolai. I like it. Edius says, hi, would you play Wood over Papsar? Alternatively, upgrade Papsar to Semenyo, transfer Williams to Chris Richards, or Guehi for a -4. I don't think the -4 is worth it there because those players aren't injured or anything, so I think, I think keeping that for now is fine. And maybe do that transfer next week. But yeah, I would play Wood over Papsar because I can see Xavi Simons coming in and taking that 10 spot away from Papsar. Whether, Thomas Frank decides to move Papsar back into the midfield over Bentancur, because I do think Paulinho will always play. You could say the same about Bentancur as well. So yeah, I don't think I think the Xavi Simons transfer makes Papsar's minutes very up in the air. So let me get on to this next question. Okay, Jeevan Gill, welcome to the stream. Good to have you. Would you do Sarr to Semenyo and Esteve to Lacroix for a -4? Okay, Sarr to Semenyo and Esteve to Lacroix for a -4. You have Gio as your 8th attacker and you could play Agbadou instead of the hit. Yeah, I don't think playing Agbadou is the play here against Newcastle. I think you would probably do the -4 because those two moves are huge. Like Semenyo and Lacroix in For a -4, I think that's worth it. Yeah, I like it, Jeevan. Go for the -4. I think there'll be a lot of -4s this game week. AFC fan says Timber is secure minutes because Ben White and Saliba are injured. Yeah, I think I agree. Timber's minutes are quite secure for now. For now. But once Ben White is back, then it's a bit of a tricky one. And do you really want Arsenal defense with Saliba injured? I know they're a very system-based team, so like having Saliba injured shouldn't impact them too much, but he is an amazing defender, and losing him is never going to be good for their defense. Offside Footy F1, morning mate, morning to you too. Welcome to the stream. Who would you start one of these? Wood, Rodon or Murillo? In the last 6 games, head-to-head between Arsenal and Forest, Arsenal scored 12 and Forest 3. Last match, draw 0-0. Arsenal win 4, Forest win 1 back in 2023. Wow, okay, that puts Wood's, appeal down significantly. I still think that, well, definitely not Murillo. So it's between Rodon and Wood, and I just think Wood with the penalties, you gotta go for him. It's one of those ones where like you've probably been you've probably been forced into playing Wood due to injuries, etc. And it's not the end of the world. Like I wasn't gonna start Wood this game week, but now with all the injuries, I have to, and it's like it's not ideal, but it's only one player in my team that I really don't like the fixture for. So I think we just got to suck it up with Wood and hope that he gets a cheeky penalty. We'll see. Tokurist, bro, Gakpo or Mateta? Which one is a good option? Oh, definitely Mateta. Definitely Mateta. Gakpo is going to be a bit of a minutes risk with Isak coming in, and Mateta plays Sunderland at home. He's a genuine captaincy shout. I think if Sarr was fit, and they have Yeremy Pino in as well, who looks like a top player, by the way. I think that Mateta he's a much better asset than Gakpo right now. Nikolai Muller says, start Wilson or Gio? I would start Wilson. Wilson, yeah. Do you mean Callum Wilson or Harry Wilson? Either way, I would start Wilson than Gio. I don't think he plays. Okay, Babagoni says, would you think about triple captain this game week? You know what? It is like genuinely a option this game week, but I'm such a data-backed manager that I just need a few more game weeks worth of data before I can make a decision on like such a big chip like a triple captain. So I would like to see Salah hit a bit more form before I captain him, especially against Burnley, who are a solid defence. They're just going to sit back and try to absorb pressure. Not that I don't think Liverpool and Salah will score. I just think there's better weeks further down the line to triple captain when we know a bit more about everyone's form and stuff like that. Daniel G. George, start Jorginho, Rutter or Rangers? I would start Rangers this game week. I fancy that City fixture for them against Man United. Footy Mad Mason, start João Pedro or Bruno? It's gotta be Bruno, isn't it? He's just so consistent. I feel like João Pedro is a bit more streaky. Jeevan Gill, I think you're very wrong about Voltemata, but we'll see. Yes, so in my video that Jeevan Gill is mentioning, I said Voltemata is the biggest robbery of the window because they bought him for 85 million. And to put that into context, I know I'm divulging a bit here, but Newcastle bought Voltemata for 85 million euros. And I think it's the 4th most expensive transfer of the window after the 3 Liverpool players with Ekitike, Isak and Wirtz. I mean, like, no one even heard of Voltemata before this, before, like, I'm going to say, like, 6 months ago. He scored 12 goals in the Bundesliga. Before that, he only scored 2 the season before. The season before that, he was in the 2nd division of Germany. Season before that, the 3rd division of Germany. So maybe he is on this meteoric rise. And I do think he'll do well at Newcastle. But I just think 85 million is absurd for a player it's such a huge gamble. But anyways, back to FPL. Nihar Naik says, hey mate, should I triple captain Salah this week? I don't plan on bringing Haaland in for my wildcard. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it is an option, but I just think there's better weeks down the line that we can understand a bit better, how the big players like Salah are playing. Like if Haaland was playing Burnley this game week or in game week 6, I think a lot of people could, potentially triple captain him there because he's on such good form. Salah's just really not on great form at the moment, so I would hesitate to triple captain in this game week, but definitely captain. FPL Hawk, welcome to the stream, my man. Hello, sir. Hello to you too. Voltemad or João Pedro on free hit 4? I'm gonna say, if you look at this, Newcastle have a 2 8.01 projected goals against Wolves at home. Chelsea 1.81. I feel like João Pedro is a bit more secure. I mean, Voltemada is the spicy pick, and if you're free hitting, you kind of want to go for those differentials. But if I was a betting man, I would probably go for João Pedro. Matt Taylor, Harry Wilson out for Semenyo is a no-brainer, right? Yes, it is. Yeah. Harry Wilson is not a good FPL pick. I hate having him in my team. I absolutely hate it, but it is what it is. Giovanni De Benedetti says, with Cunha out, will Ahmad play up top? There are so many options to play in that 10 role with Cunha out. You could see, obviously Sesko's going to play up top, and then Mbumo behind him in one of the 10s, and then the other 10 it could be Mason Mount, it could be Xerxes. I don't think Ahmad is gonna get a run out, unfortunately, but he is really good there. Nelson Ruteruka says, hello, any recommendations for my team? Yeah, I mean, send your team and maybe I'll have a recommendation. Ayub says, Medeb, sell one of Harry Wilson, Arias, Adingra, Dorgu to Truffer, or Tosin or Chalaba. So I think Harry Wilson, Arias or Adingra, probably Arias, I would say, even though their fixtures look solid. Like, Wilson plays Leeds this game week. I don't know. Maybe it is just Harry Wilson. Yeah, I'm going to say get rid of Harry Wilson. And then Dorgu to, I think Truffer is a good shout. I really like how he's looked too. Oh, we've got a super chat. Elite Crew, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Aït-Nouri and Strand Larson to Senesi and Mateta, or hold Ryan Aït-Nouri. I really like those moves. And are you doing that for a -4? Or if it's free, then 100% do it. And I also think it is worth the -4. Like, 2 injured players out for... you know what? I like it. Go for Senesi and Mateta. Yeah, really good transfers. Really good. Okay. Broomman says, appreciate the reply above. No problem at all. That's what I'm here for. Boom Doomsday, would be able to do a quick review of my teammate. I honestly don't think I will, to be honest. I think if you want to put it into the chat, I'll do my best, but I just, I'm trying to get to everyone's team really quickly here. So, on to Sohail. Welcome to the stream, my man. You have Porro, Romero, Richards, Murillo, and Esteve. You plan to start Porro, Romero, and Richards. Would you transfer anyone out? Porro to Munoz or a Liverpool defender? Porro off at 70 against Bournemouth. Yeah, I saw that, and it is a little bit concerning. I do think you could hold on to Porro, because you look at those fixtures for Spurs and they are just so good. Like, those Spurs fixtures are really solid, and double Spurs against West Ham is a nice one to have this game week. And I agree, you would bench Murillo and Esteve here. I don't think you transfer anyone out. If anything, you could transfer Murillo. I don't know. You want to keep him for those 2 fixtures coming up. I think you are in a tough spot here, but you do have a Crystal Palace player. I think it's like maybe overthinking it a bit, because you want to get like Munoz or a Liverpool defender in, and I agree they are very enticing, but your team isn't like you do have a good backline, so I do think you can save it, unless you do have some money in the bank, in which case you could do like Esteve up to someone. But yeah, I think it's maybe too much, and saving the transfer is probably a better move right now, which, this game week you will probably lose out a bit, but in the long term, having that extra transfer, I think you'll appreciate that. Okay, Nelson, you've sent your team. Thank you. You've got Petrovic, Lacroix, Collins, Williams. Then in the midfield, you've got Salah, Ndoye, Reinders, Garner, Dango. And then up top, Haaland, Gyökeres. Bench, Dubravka, Wood, Van de Ven, Reynildo. You only have 1 free transfer. I mean, I don't think you need a free transfer. I think your team actually looks really good, to be honest. The defense is an issue. Maybe I would make a defensive transfer and do something like, Williams or Collins to like a Crystal Palace player. Whoever you can afford. If you can afford Munoz, go for him. You can do Collins to Lacroix, go for that. Collins to Lacroix, I think Nelson is a good move. Wakas Ahmed, thanks a lot. I love the way you respond and read every comment. This is by far the best FPL live possible. Thank you for your great content. Well, I really appreciate that. I don't know if it's the best live, but I do my best. I do my best to get to everyone. Giovanni De Benedetti, 1 to play between Juve or Van de Ven, and 1 to play between Ndiaye or Harry Wilson. I think it's got to be Van de Ven and Harry Wilson. Now, between Juve and Van de Ven, I think it's got to be Van de Ven. I know they're playing away at West Ham, but they've been to the better defence. And between Ndiaye and Harry Wilson, if we knew Ndiaye was definitely playing, maybe just start Ndiaye, because I don't think he comes on as a sub. I don't think he does. But if he just starts out of nowhere and you benched him for Harry Wilson, you'll be raging. I don't think either of them start, actually. Now that I say it, Harry Wilson or Ndiaye, there's a possibility that neither of them start, but you would hope that Ndiaye comes on. And if he doesn't, then just have Harry Wilson first on your bench instead of Juve. Put Harry Wilson first on your bench. Takuris, bro, who is the best captain for this game week? In my order, I think it's Salah, Haaland, and Mateta. In that order. VC, sell Palmer for a -4. Apparently, Palmer's fit. He looks fit and he's in training, so I wouldn't sell Palmer for anything, let alone a -4. MJ says, would you do Sarr to Semenyo or just play double Spurs defense instead and roll? Ooh, that's a good question. You know what? I think the double Spurs defense and roll, honestly. Like, obviously, Semenyo is a great pick. And if you can do Sarr to Semenyo in any other circumstance, I would say yes. But, yeah, if there's anyone in your attack that you're like, oh, I kind of just I don't really want to start them, but because of the injury, I'll just start them. If there is that situation, like if you can get Semenyo in and bench someone in your attack instead, excuse me, if you can bench someone in your attack instead, then I do think Semenyo is a really good pick right now. AFC fan again says Arsenal defense should be fine. People forget how good their backups are. Mosquera is one of the best on the pitch at Anfield, and Hincapie is still elite. 100% agree. Like those centre backs in like Hincapie and Mosquera could be a starting centre back duo for another Premier League team. Like the Arsenal's backups are just insane in the defense. They have a cracked out defense. So yeah, I do agree that they'll be fine. Dwight Schrute says, would you start Nico Williams or Dorgu? Oh, that's so tough. I would probably start Dorgu just because he's more attacking, I would say. But I do think Man City pump Man United. As a Man United fan, unfortunately, I do think we get a little bit pumped. But you could come away with an attacking return with Dorgu is always the hope. Ross Van Eyck, thoughts on Gyökeres? I mean, I'd love to have him in my team instead of Watkins right now, but I don't. So, yeah, I do like Gyökeres as a pick right now. Mohamed Daniel says, Vicario or Henderson as goalkeeper? If I was to start one right now, it would be Henderson for sure. Martin Verwer says, should I sell Palmer? I know I could do him to Semenyo and upgrade Anderson to Bruno or upgrade Gio to Mateta. Guys, I don't think Palmer's a sell this game week. I don't think he is a sell. You know, he's been pictured in training and I think he's like a differential now. That I keep saying this, but he is like a differential. Everyone sold him, and you still have him. I think he's a hold. AFC, don't forget to do your transfers on a 1/2 hour left. Van Dijk, Timber, or Senesi. So you know what, guys? Let's see what the poll is saying. Can I see the poll on my phone? That would be nice. I don't think I can. So I'm gonna go on this and see what the poll is saying. So Van Dijk is 42%, guys. There we go. Yeah, it looks like Van Dijk. So now that you reminded me, I am gonna do my my transfer. So let's go ahead and do my transfer right now before I forget. So I've got Virgil in for Aït-Nouri. I think this is the move. What, like, obviously you guys agree. Anyone who voted agrees. I just look at those fixtures. Also, I am thinking of bench boosting in Game Week 5, and I do like Everton at home for Liverpool, little Merseyside derby. So yeah, I'm gonna go for it. Aït-Nouri for Van Dijk. Confirm. And this is how I'm lining up. Obviously, you know, Sarr's injured, but I'm just gonna put him there first on the bench, anyways. But yeah, that's how we're looking. I'll go back to this page anyways, even though I've made the transfer. Just it looks a bit nicer. Okay, moving on. Now that I've sorted my team out, I can do your guys' teams. So thank you, AFC fan, for reminding me. Next is Palace. Okay, Offside Footy F1. Back with the analysis. This is like, honestly, you should be a content creator yourself. The level of analysis you do is so good. I love it every week. So here we go. We got Palace, last 3 Premier League games, possession percentage. They had 42% possession against Villa, 42 against Forest, and 28 you said against Palace in UEFA playoffs against Fredrikstad. They have 70% possession. Okay, they could suffer against Sunderland, who like to play on the counter, same as them. Thoughts? So I agree. I think this isn't going to be an easy game for Palace. It's one of those games that, like, on paper you would say that Palace is, going to keep a clean sheet, going to score loads of goals. And my argument against that is how good Sunderland have looked. They've looked very solid. They play that kind of style of football, similar to Palace, where they just want to get you on the counter. So either this game could be very cagey or very open. What I will say about Sunderland is that their data defensively looks so good. I think they rank 4th for expected goals conceded in the league so far. But their fixtures have been so fucking easy. Like, they played Burnley, Brentford and West Ham, I think. Not in that order. But yeah, some really easy fixtures for Sunderland so far. So no wonder they've been keeping, good defensive data. I think this is a huge test for them, though. The Palace game. So should be interesting. Nikolai says, should I buy Wirtz for Sarr? I think any Liverpool attacker right now, even including Wirtz, I think Salah's the most nailed, followed by Wirtz, but there is always going to be a chance that Wirtz gets benched at some point, especially with all the fixtures coming up. He's not been in good form, and he is potentially a rotation risk. I'm not going to say he is, because we don't know that yet. And I could also, in another world, see him starting every single game. I just think he's not a transfer in right now. Yeah. So yeah, there's probably other players that you could get for Sarr. If you don't have Semenyo, go for him, I think. He's a good one. Adrian Rainers says, hey Gallagher, hello to you. One question, would you do Sarr and Murillo to Senesi and Semenyo, or do you have other options in mind if you were in the same situation? Love your vids, man. Well, thank you very much. I think you've hit the nail on the head with those two transfers. Sarr and Murillo to Senesi and Semenyo, I really like it. I think if you can afford Sarr to Semenyo alone this game week, I don't know what I do it. Like, yeah, I don't know. I do think the double move makes sense. The only concern is obviously Murillo, has really nice fixtures coming up, but everyone's a bit put off by Nottingham Forest defence with Ange coming in. So I totally understand it. I do think it's a viable move for you, man. Nikolai says, is it totally off considering Wildcard 6 getting Haaland, Gyökeres and Isak combined with cheap value mid and heavy defence plus Raya? Feel like no managers have been considering this yet. You know what? I'm glad you bring that up, because Haaland and Isak, I think, are going to be like in everyone's team at some point this season, because I just think Haaland's really turning it up this year, and I could see Isak really settling really well into that Liverpool team. Once he starts getting the minutes, if he stays injury free, a starting Liverpool striker at Isak's level for 10.5 million is, something that I think will tempt a lot of people and opens up the door for people to get rid of Salah and get Haaland instead, which I think people are already looking to do anyways. So yeah, I do think it's a very, very viable move. Harry Widdop went early last night on 8 to Van Dijk as thought they may rise. Do you think it's now worth just keeping Sarr instead of -4? Yeah, I do. It depends obviously on your team and who you can start instead of Sarr. For me, it's Wood and Harry Wilson, one or the other. But yeah, I'm happy to just roll the transfer because I have those options. But maybe you don't and you do need a -4. Sohail says, thank you, sir. I will roll the transfer, I think. Yeah, fair enough. You're in a luxury position there. Everyone out here making transfers, taking -4 hits, and you're here rolling a transfer. You're just an elite manager, mate. Rajesh, hey mate, love from Singapore, love your content. Would you rather start Watkins and Milenkovic or Johnson and King? First of all, love from Singapore is huge. I actually used to live in Singapore for like 4 years back when I was a young'un. So yeah, good to hear we've got some fans over in Singapore. I love that place. So Watkins and Milenkovic or Johnson and King. I would start Watkins. Yeah, I think Watkins and No, do you want Milenkovic? Who's like Johnson and King? Can you start Watkins and Johnson? Or Watkins and King even? Watkins and King could be the play. If I had to pick between the two you've given me, I think Watkins and Milenkovic. But if you can do Watkins and King, that would be great. Hans Long says, who would you bring in for Marmoush? Bob or Semenyo? Oh, definitely Semenyo. Oscar Bob is still going to be a huge rotation risk, but Semenyo is just that guy. He's just that guy for Bournemouth. He's going to play every minute. Laudis says, is Munoz your favourite Aït-Nouri replacement? Yes, he is, for sure. If I didn't have Munoz, he would be my Aït-Nouri replacement. Yeah, definitely. Sam Ansel, welcome back to the stream. What are your plans for bringing in Arsenal players? My plans right now, I am going to wait a bit. Just because I really want those fixtures to swing a bit. And also my defense looks fine. Like if I'm gonna get Arsenal players in, it's gonna start with the defenders, just because they're the best defense in the league on their day, or over the course of a season, you could say. But I just need those fixtures to swing a little bit and then go for it. But right now my defense looks pretty good, so it's not a high priority for him at the moment. But I would love to get Saka in my team at some point. Paul W says, going round in circles with 3 free transfers. Wow, nice. 3 free transfers. Any advice, please? You've got Kelleher, Van de Ven, Munoz, Cucurella, Palmer, Gakpo, Salah, Rodgers, Reinders. Wow, that's a great midfield. Then you've got Mateta, Watkins. On the bench, you've got Dubravka, Murillo, Esteve, Krupi Jr. Okay. 3 free transfers. But you don't even need to make one this game week is the crazy thing. Like, you don't have any injuries. That's insane. You can save a transfer, Paul. Like, you don't need to do anything. Look at your team. Maybe a goalkeeper transfer. You're in the position where you can make a goalkeeper transfer. Because Kelleher, I mean, not ideal. But other than that, your team is like, to have 3 transfers saved up and have this team, you're in a really good spot, mate. A really good spot. Save up that transfer. Jonesy Chats Wrestling says, what transfers are you doing? So I know on my screen I have Aït-Nouri as in the starting 11. He's actually Van Dijk. He's actually Van Dijk now. So yeah, I've got Van Dijk. Let me just change it real quick. I'll show you guys. Let me go here. I'll do this. Boom. Bada bing. Boom. Pow. This will only take 2 seconds, and I'll make my background different. I know you guys get to see behind the scenes here. Intense editing. Look at that. Look at that beautiful edit. And then I'll just share this. Download. Page 5. Look at that, guys. That's just... I mean, I should be doing this stuff before the stream, but is what it is. I had to make the transfer. So now this is my team. I did Aït-Nouri to Van Dijk. That is what I've done. All right. So, Leet Crew, start Palmer or Rusher? Thank you. I would start Palmer in the hope that he plays. Yeah, I do think it's a good fixture for him. Ross Van Eyck, should I transfer Mateta for Gyökeres? No, definitely not. I know Gyökeres is very tempting this game week, but Mateta has Sunderland at home, you know? Jonathan says, why are you keeping Sarr? I don't want to take a -4 right now, and I can just play Wilson or Wood, but it's always an option that I transfer Sarr out next game week. It just gives me a bit more time to see how he progresses with his injury. If he's not going to play next week anyways, so I could transfer him next week, but we'll see. Maybe he's predicted to be back in training, that kind of thing, and I don't want to take a -4 when I can just instead play Wilson or Wood, you know? So that's why. But other people will need to transfer him out because they don't have anyone they can play instead. Okay. KM Consa instead of Murillo. Yeah, I think that's a fair move. Yeah, or a fair benching decision. Definitely start Consa. Who else? Mr. Happy says, Wan-Bissaka to Guehi or Sarr to Semenyo? I've 1 free transfer or roll. Thank you from South Africa. Okay, well, welcome from South Africa. I would say Sarr to Semenyo is a bit more of an upside. There with Semenyo. Definitely, I would go for that one. Oh, Bob Jubery with a super chat. Thank you very much. Bench 1 of Alanga, Wood, Reinders, Rodgers. Thanks. So you have Alanga against Wolves, Wood against Arsenal, Reinders against Man United, and Rodgers against Everton. Unfortunately, I do think it's got to be Rodgers. So the reason for that is I really like the Newcastle fixture. As you can see, they play Wolves and they're the 4th team for projected goals. Man City, the 3rd team, and Rangers is going to be playing in that 10, I would expect, against Man United with Marmoush out, Foden out. I think he's going to play very high up the pitch. So I like Elanga, I like Rangers, and then between Wood and Rodgers, I just think, you know, Wood's on penalties. They both play good defenses, and Wood, you know, he's on penalties. Rodgers has looked very flat, and Villa in particular have looked very flat. And they play a good defense. So yeah, it's got to be Rodgers on the bench, unfortunately. It's got to be. But thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it, man. Okay, Hero Cat says, start Van de Ven over Van Dijk or Senesi or not. I would do Van de Ven over Senesi this game week. Just based off the clean sheet odds here, we have Bournemouth with 24% and Spurs with 28%. So just based off a percentage game, 4% more chance of a clean sheet. got to go for Van de Ven. And obviously Liverpool, like, you're going to start Van Dijk against Burnley away, aren't you? You're going to. Okay, next one. Thoughts on... So Jimbo says, thoughts on Josh King or Dewsbury Hall? Looking to save money. Yeah, I like Josh King, to be honest. I know they've just got 2 transfers in the attack, Fulham, but they're both wingers. I think Josh King is just a great little 4.5 million player. You know, he's such an enabler and he plays. So, yeah, I like it. Zach Howard, I've followed you in 8 Nuri to Van Dijk, but after Arsenal play City and Newcastle, I think Arsenal defence is a must. Yeah, 100% agree. I think I've just gone for Virgil as the next 2 fixtures are really nice, but I could see myself getting an Arsenal defender in very soon. Once they've played City and Newcastle, agreed. Arsenal defence is a must. I actually agree, it is a must. You've got to have one of the best defences in the league when they have good fixtures. But guys, less than 15 minutes, about 12-13 minutes to go onto the stream. If you guys are watching and you're enjoying the stream, I'm trying to get to every single one of your questions. If you appreciate that effort, then obviously it helps me a lot. If you guys want to drop a like on the stream, that's huge for me. I'm only a small FPL channel, but yeah, doing my best to answer all your questions. And if you like the stream, then drop a like. And also subscribe if you're enjoying the content in general. Yeah, subscribe to the channel. Helps me a lot and keeps me going. Obviously, this isn't my full-time job. I just do this as a passion project on the side. So really appreciate any help you guys can offer there just by clicking a few buttons. But enough of that nonsense. Let's get back to your questions. Okay, you've got Martin saying Anderson to Kudus or stick with Anderson because of nice Forest fixtures after Arsenal. I like Anderson to Kudus. I do. I agree that the fixtures are nice with those Forest fixtures coming up, but Kudus' fixtures are insane too. Those Spurs fixtures are so good. And yeah, I quite like Kudus as a pick. Offside Footy F1, thanks for the appreciation, mate. My day job keeps me pretty occupied, but FPL keeps me sane. Data along with eye test is the bomb, but the thrill of outlier performances is what we live for. 100%. We all love a good differential, don't we? We love a good differential. Sorry, my hair's annoying me here. But yeah, honestly, one of my favorite parts of streaming Offside Footy F1 is your comments. So keep it up. Yeah, I also have a day job which keeps me very occupied, but I do my best to make these videos for you guys too. Zach Howard, how many game weeks till you give up? Aston Villa players can smell a wild card soon. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, like, it's been so tough having double Villa attack. Like, it's been absolutely killing me. But yeah, it's just got to be done. I just got to hold them for these nice fixtures. At a certain point, I do think I just give up on Rodgers or Watkins or both. But we just got to wait and see. Like, you'd expect them to start scoring soon. Surely they score this game week. Surely. We will see. Nelson, what is my current rank? I think I'm like 5 million something, but I don't really look at it. We're only 3 game weeks in, so yeah. But if I was ranked higher, or if I had a better rank, of course I would know it. Like if I was top 1 million or something, but I'm not. So I'm just going to act as if I don't really care, but I obviously do. Thoughts on Juve to Richards? You have 1 free transfer. Yeah, Tanuj, I like that. Juve to Richards is a good move. Really like it. Mr. B, well, like I said before, Game Week 3, Nuno sacked now. Thoughts on Nottingham Forest and Postecoglou? What's going to happen with their game plan? I think it'll remain fairly consistent for this game week. I think they'll play very similarly to how Spurs played in the Europa League final. Excuse me, guys. That's my 10-minute alarm. So, guys, 10 minutes to make your transfers. Go ahead and pop them, or I'll try to get to as many of these questions before the deadline. So, yeah, to answer your question, Mr. B, I think they play very similarly to how Spurs played in the Europa League final against Man United, which is also very similar to how Forest play in general. They kind of sit back and go on the counter. So I could see them not transitioning to Ange ball immediately, but yeah, time will tell. But we just have to watch them play and see how it goes. Nicholas says, Enzo or Kudus on Wildcard? Ooh, I like Enzo, but he takes up a Chelsea slot. And you're going to want, maybe a defender like Cucurella or Chalobah or Sanchez. And you're going to probably want João Pedro and Palmer. But yeah, I would say because you're probably not going to have 3 Spurs players and their fixtures are amazing, I would probably lean towards Kudus there. Okay, Volasma says, what do you think of a midfield four of Grealish, Kudus, Simmons and Rodgers this game week for a free hit? Yeah, for a free hit, I really like it. Yeah, I really like it. Rodgers wouldn't be in there for me personally, though. I don't think it's a great fixture for Villa. Everton are a good defence, and Villa have been very poor. I would maybe throw in what I would recommend is maybe a Langa. Throw in like a nice little, Newcastle player in there. They play Wolves and they're predicted to score a lot of goals. Maybe even a City midfielder with Rangers. I really like him this game week too. Okay, Harry says, would you bring in Mateta for Mark Giu and play a 3-4-3 and bench Wilson, or roll and play Wilson in a 3-5-2? I like doing that transfer, to be honest. If it's not for a -4, getting Mateta in this game week, I really like. And if it means you can bench Wilson, then yeah, I would go for it. I would go for that. Okay, Jun Bin Lim says, bench one of Rangers or Rodgers? I would bench Rodgers, start Rangers. Joe Zungo says, bro, any suggestions? Grealish or Madueke? I'd go for Grealish there. I'd go for Grealish. Gavino says, hi Stephen, would you start in Dai or Doubt or Rangers this week? Cheers. I'd go for Rangers. Yeah, I really like him this game week. I think he's going to play very attacking. The Super Gofk says, Rangers or Rusher? I'd start Rangers again. Just trying to get all the Rangers questions out the way. OP Talent says, correct bench order, Gio, Milenkovic, Estev. Gio more likely to get minutes this week, or bank on Milenkovic Defcon? You know what? I think Milenkovic Defcon. I'm going to be honest. I think Milenkovic Defcon. If Gio plays any minutes, you're going to be like, oh. But no, I do think the safer pick is Milenkovic. And that's probably what you should go for on your bench. Okay. What you could do, actually, now that I think about it, is like, if Gio gets minutes... No, I'd go Milenkovic first on the bench. Yeah, I was trying to justify Gio, but no, I think it is Milenkovic. We'll wait and see on Gio. I do think he's a good pick for now. Okay, Vebum says, who to bench, Rodgers, Dewsbury Hall or Rangers? Bench. Oh, I would, between Rodgers and Dewsbury Hall, who has higher projected goals, Everton or Villa? Yeah, I'd bench Rodgers there, unfortunately. Zach Howard, wonder if Willany is in this stream on a burner account. Yeah, I know he likes my channel, so maybe he's snooping around somewhere in here. Maybe he is. Scooby says, start Murillo or Juve, or -4 to bring in another 4.5 for Juve. That's a tough one. I'd probably just start Juve there. Yeah, probably just start Juve, unfortunately. Not worth the -4. Oh, Bob Jaburi with another super chat. Wow, thank you so much, man. Follow-up question. What if you have Gabriel as well? So let me just go through your the ones that you said. So you have Gabriel and Elanga, Wood, Rangers, Rodgers. Yeah, I would still start Gabriel. I would still start Gabriel and bench Rodgers in this situation. I think you look at that clean sheet odds for Arsenal. They're the top clean sheet odds this game week. So yeah, to answer your question, Bob, I would start Gabriel. I would start Elanga, Wood, and Rangers, and I'd bench Rodgers. But yeah, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it, man. Really appreciate it. Okay, firing through the rest of the questions. We have 5 minutes left, guys. Just over 5 minutes left until the deadline. So make your transfers if you haven't already. Robert Mullally, hey Stephen, good to see you back. Great content as always. Thank you very much, Robert. Good to see you back too. Who to captain, Semenyo, Haaland, or João Pedro? Oh, I like the Haaland shout. I like Haaland. Captain in Haaland against Man United is just a banker, I feel. I think he's going to do damage. Giovanni again. Which players would you target if next game week you would have 4 free transfers? Do you mean like who would I target this game week? As you want to just go for like a little punt, then maybe like Xavi Simons, I would say. Then you can fix it the next week if anything happens. LFC Cola, hi, a quick question. Cucurella or Virgil for wildcard? Thank you so much. I think Virgil. I do think Van Dijk. I just think, especially right now, if you're wildcarding right now, LFC Cola, yeah, I like Van Dijk for this game week, next one, and just for the rest of the season, honestly. But Cucurella is a good shout. I just think Virgil's slightly better. Dan Burnett, what's your plan for using chips? My plan, Dan, right now is potentially a bench boost in 5 and a free hit in 6. But I'm going to take things as they come and, just play it by ear. Siberian Amur Tiger, yo bro, sup? Do you think Nuno being sacked will affect Forest? I talked about this a little bit. I think it will affect them. We just have to wait and see because we're not sure if Ange is going to implement his tactics immediately. So wait and see. We'll see how he plays against Arsenal. Andrew Barton, do you think Adungra will start or benched? I think he'll start, from what I've seen. I think he'll start. Adrian Videnov, I just overthought it and got Munoz instead of Wan-Bissaka, benching Sarr and starting 4 in defence. I'm cooked, have Williams starting. I mean, listen, Williams starting isn't the end of the world. It's not ideal, but it's only one player in your team that isn't ideal. I think we overthink it a bit too much, you know? Like, I have Wood in my team and I'm like, oh, he plays Arsenal. But he's only one player in my team. So, who knows? Anything can happen. Kingdom of K, Elanga or Barnes? I would say Elanga. In terms of like a long term, I think Elanga's minutes are more secure than Barnes's. Once Gordon is back, Barnes is back on the bench, isn't he? Offside Footy F1, who's your best punt for this week? My best punt for this week, honestly, probably one of the Newcastle boys, I would say. Elanga or Voltemade. I like, maybe Elanga. Yeah, I'm just going to throw a punt. Elanga. I quite like him this week. Okay, Sanchez, Virgil, Cucurella, Timber, Konsa, Gakpo, Bruno G, Grealish, Richarlison, João Pedro, Haaland. Nice team, man. Yeah, really like your team. Love the top, Germany, says Mark Edwards. What do you do when you want to transfer a player out, full Krug, and you know he'll drop in price, but because of price point you need to make another transfer, but you're not sure who to bring in? Listen, it's a very tough one. I think you just kind of have to bite the bullet and make the other transfer. Maybe, yeah, let me know. I know we only have 3 to 2 minutes left, so throw me like who you have in the rest of your team, and I'll try to suggest another transfer for you. Jimbo says, start Anderson at Forest or Johnson at Spurs. I would start Johnson at Spurs for sure. Johnson. Stian Nygaard says, I have Kelleher and Dubravka. Should take -4 for Sanchez. Who to start? I don't think it's worth the -4. Because they could just get a clean... Like, he's going to get 2 points anyways. Yeah, I think just wait next week and do a transfer. But yeah, I'd transfer Kelleher out next week. Square Puma says, is it worth getting Mateta in for a -4 instead of Strand Larson? I do think that is worth a -4 to get Mateta in this game week. Yeah, he plays Sunderland at home. I do think Mateta in is a -4 this week. If it gets you a starting striker, yeah. Harry says, hi mate, yes, it was for a free, so all is good. Really appreciate the content and help my go-to channel for FPL news and analysis. Wow, thank you so much. Glad to be of any help for you guys. So yeah, appreciate it. Lauda says, is a Palace defensive double up fine? Is Semenyo or Bruno your favourite Sarr replacement? I think the Palace defensive double up is really nice. I really like it. And yeah, Semenyo or Bruno. In terms of a Sarr replacement, I like Semenyo a lot. I do like Semenyo. Okay. Sorry, I'm just figuring out my mate's team as well. My mate's always sending me their teams on WhatsApp too. Like, who should I play? Who should I bench? I was like, just get in the stream, lads. Get in the stream and send a question. All right, guys, only 1 minute left. 1 minute to go. Elanga benched apparently. Whew, that's big news. That's big news. Bruno Fernandes or Wood for this game week, says Haytham. I would start Bruno. I would start Bruno for sure. Captain Haaland or Salah, Nelson says. I like Salah. I like Salah this game week. But Haaland's very tempting because everyone's going to go Salah. But yeah, guys, that is the deadline. Get your transfers in now if you haven't already. Make your moves. We've got 15 seconds to go. So yeah, now it's 10 seconds to go. Yeah, make those moves, guys. Get it in. Get them in. And let me just make sure I've got my team sorted. Salah's captain. Everything's looking good. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for the stream, guys. We're locked in for game week 4. I'd love to stick around and chat for a long time. I know I usually do stick around for another few minutes, but I've got plans this evening, or this day, I should say. It's only 11 a.m. here. So yeah, I've got to shoot on, but good luck for the game week, guys, and enjoy the games. Hopefully everyone scores highly, but not as highly as I do. And yeah, I'll see you guys next game week. I'm going to try do one of these streams every game week. So yeah, looking forward to chatting with you guys before the deadlines. And yeah, really enjoyed this one, guys. Until next time.